good habits, good expressions of holiness in the family, just practicing with the kids. We would have, sometimes I'd just say, all right, we're going to practice obeying when they're really little. And I would just say, jump 10 times. It's like, good job, or just funny things, but practicing obedience. Because you want the kids to obey. You want to establish your authority, but you don't want to set them up to fail. So Doug mentioned on the way to the grocery store, I just review the rules a little bit. That's what we're going to do. Sometimes if somebody came in the room, was like, oh, I'm bored. And say, oh, hang on, let's rewind the tape. Why don't you go out and come back in and try that again? So obviously with little kids, not with teenagers. They got it by then. That was our hope. That was our goal, of course. But just giving them opportunities to do it right and making it sort of a game when they're little, the practicing. And I remember telling them the story of this that I had read about a missionary, and his little kid was playing under a big tree, and he was on the front porch and he saw this lethal snake in the tree over his son. So he just said, drop on your knees and crawl to me. And the little kid didn't say, why, Dad? He just did it, and came. And so I would tell the kids, you can't say why until after you've done it. And then you can ask me why. Why did you have me do that, Mom? It's like, why do I have to clean my room? Well, maybe it's not a life or death situation. You can ask me after you've done it.
Right. And we, in this practice, when you practice beforehand, practice responses, and you have a game of an obedience game or those sorts of things, you can also utilize those things in the midst of a situation. So just last night, we were visiting our youngest daughter, whose youngest is 2 years old, and he was struggling with his outlook. And so she stopped him and said, okay, stop, look at me, eyes on eyes. It made him look me in the eye. And she said, now, I want you to say, Mom? And he said, Mom? And she said, this is what I want you to say. And this is the voice inflection I want you to use.
It has to be cheerful.
It's cheerful.
Not moaning.
So you can't moan your way through this.
Right.
I want you to say, Mommy? And he said, Mommy? Right. Walked him through. Okay, it's Mom cutting your obedience meat for you. And you teach them how, you take them by the hand and you walk them through
It's a lot of work. It's a big commitment, and it takes a lot of patience. Just yesterday, I was taking a walk in the Arboretum, excuse me, and there's a little kid shrieking, just shrieking and screaming, and a helpless mother. And, this is no place for her to establish her authority. She should have done that at home long ago. And she didn't even pick the child up and get the child to the car or someplace. It was like, no, because the child doesn't want to be picked up. So there's no excuse for mothers to not establish authority. And you can do it cheerfully, and it takes a lot of teaching and big commitment of time and energy and prayer. But God answers those prayers, and the kids actually appreciate it. They're having fun, shrieking and being miserable. So